right. Okay, so lots of circle stuff. So I'm just going to call these like notes. Today is 5/3/22. Period 135. Obviously, your name is here. Yay. Okay, so you did this already as an ed puzzle, so I'm just kind of like wrapping it up, but I know it was a few days ago, maybe even upwards of a week ago, so we'll get you on track. Okay, so a lot of circle vocabulary. We've got a chord, we've got radius, diameter, arcs, minor arc, major arc, semicircle, all kinds of goodies. So a chord can just be any segment from one end point of the circle to the other. If it goes through the center, that's called the diameter specifically. So this is the center, okay? A circle is named by its center. That's not a very good word that I wrote there. There we go. So chord AB measures 12 and the radius is 10. So a radius can extend from any center to an endpoint, and the radius is 10. So one of the things you learned in that notes last week was that if I draw a radius through this chord, it's going to be perpendicular, and it will bisect it. So when I have to find the distance from AB to O, I'm looking for this little distance in here. And since AB measures 12, the whole thing is 12, but when I bisect it, it's going to be 6 and 6. So if you can imagine this triangle, I'm going to lift it out of its circle here for a minute so you can see. Here's the X, here's the 6, here's the 10. So if you wanted to solve for that, it might be easy to use Pythagorean Theorem. But what would be easier is to memorize your triples. Dun, 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 dun. So I'll review some triples with you. But here, I'll finish this. So I'm done. The distance from AB to O is 8 millimeters. Yay. All right, so because circles have so many like right angle stuff in there, it might be good to review our triples. So first off, the Pythagorean Theorem is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Okay, so the Pythagorean Theorem is that, but if you have what's called a triple, those are whole numbers that make up a right triangle, so you don't have to keep doing the Pythagorean Theorem. So maybe you want to do, well, 3, 4, 5 is probably the most common one. So 3, 4, 5. So meaning 3 squared plus 4 squared equals 5 squared. 9 plus 16 equals 25. So then they have what's called like a family. So if I, let's say, doubled all this, then I would have 6, 8, 10. Or if I tripled, a 9, 12, 15. So this is a triple, and this is in that family. Another really famous triple is 5, 12, 13. So in that family would be like 10, 24, 26, 15, 36, 39. So you might not recognize it in the family, but you might get more used to it over time. Anyway, there's an infinite number of triples. 8, 15, 17, 9, 40, 41, 11, 60, 61, etc. So I would memorize like 2, 3, 4, 5 of them to make your life a little bit easier.
a question.
Yeah.
So you know how we did the first problem, right?
Yep.
Something confused. Like, I know how you got 36 equal to 100, but I don't know how you got 64 and 8.
Because I subtracted 36 from 100.
And you got 64.
Uh-huh.
And
then you take the square root.
Yeah. Oh, and then you get 8.
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's do number 2. Find the length of a chord that is 15 centimeters from the center of a circle with a radius of 17. So we've got a lot to unpack here. So first thing, I want you to make your best circle that you can. The more accurate you can try to make your picture, the better, like a little bit easier that it becomes. So you know that you definitely need a center, and the radius is 17. So wherever you make that radius, who knows, you can make it here, we'll call it 17. So find the length of a chord. So I know that wherever I draw this chord, it's going to be, that's what I'm looking for, that unknown. But it's 15 centimeters from the center. So this chord is 15 centimeters from all right, so your picture is a really, really important piece. Now, this isn't going to help me. I'm going to make this in pencil because I'm going to erase it. But if I make this hypotenuse, that's not really going to help me to get to this. So I need to get to this. So initially when I drew this radius, I drew it out here, but then I put my chord over there. So I'm going to make another radius, because how many radiuses are in a circle? The plural of radius is radii. But say infinite, exactly. So I'm going to make this triangle happen. So let me redraw it for you up here. So this is my 15. The radius is 17. So these are all 17. You just kind of want to make it so that it's, you know, easily in your picture. And then I'm looking for this distance. Now, I'm looking for this entire chord length. So just keep in mind that this little piece of it is only half. So I'm looking for that piece of it, but then this is going to be half of it, half of it. So then I'm going to find the entire one. Anyways, so then I've got 15 squared plus x squared equals 17 squared. Okay, 225 plus x squared equals 289. I'll show this step now. Oops, that was a 5. So x squared equals, we have 64 again, and then I take the square root. So x equals 8. So if you think about where I am in this triangle, I'm right here. So this is 8. So that means this half is 8, because remember, the chord is bisected. So the chord is 16 centimeters. And then you're done. Now, you might have lucked out with a pretty good looking picture right off the bat. But if you have to redraw or erase, obviously feel free. All right.
I know how you got 8, but how do you get 16?
Double it.
Oh, you doubled it?
Yep, because these are congruent.
Oh, okay.
Sure. All right, so find to the nearest tenth. So we know we need our calculator. So let's all take out our graphing calculator. We're looking for the circumference and the area. Okay, so I could add that to like our circle review that we had last week. Area which is pi times radius squared. And then circumference. Circumference is sort of like a fancy way to say perimeter of a circle. You either see it as pi times diameter or 2 pi r, because twice the radius is the diameter. So we're going to find to the nearest tenth. So this sort of like tells you that you're going to multiply out. Last week we left pi in it. So that sort of is your hint that you're going to multiply out the pi. All right, so the circumference and the area. So let's find circumference first. Since the diameter is 7.8, it's pretty straightforward to just do pi times diameter, which is 7.8. So on my handy-dandy calculator, I'm going to do, now the pi key is above this arrow. So I'm going to hit 7.8 times second pi. And you get 24.5. Wake up! Let's go! Hala, let's go! Now you're going to be on the video. Abdella, let's go! Now you're going to be on the video. My sleepers. Let's go! Let's go! It's not a good thing. You got to turn this puppy in. Must be complete. Otherwise, you'll have to watch it again. I guess. Okay. Let's go. All right, 24.5. Okay, the area, which is pi times radius squared. So the radius is half the diameter. Oh boy, I'm off the grid. So that is 3.9, and then you need to square it. So what you can do right with your answer is hit squared times pi. So 47.78 rounded to the nearest tenth is 8. So that is 47.8 square centimeters. So that's where you have to put in your square units. All right. Okay. Questions there?
Wait, I have a question. How do you get 3.9?
Divided 7.8 by 2.
Okay. Then you times it by 5, right? Square.
Pi times radius squared. So you got pi times radius squared. Good old area. So here's my little circle stuff that we'll kind of keep on. And then, of course, our triples. All right, so find the distance from the center of a circle to a chord, 30 meters long, if the diameter is 34. So we're going to have a nice big fat circle. I think I'll just use this line as the chord. Why not, right? All right, so the chord is 30, so that means that each half of it is 15 and 15, because remember, those are congruent. We're looking for this little x value right here. I'm going to highlight this little guy. That's what we're looking for. If the diameter is 34. So remember, the diameter is all the way through, like corner or end point to end point. So if the diameter is 34, each half is 17. So I'm going to rewrite this triangle. And now that we've had a nice little recap of our triple, What's this missing side length? You better say 8. Yay! Because it's a triple. And that's it. That is the distance from the center to the chord. So the distance is 8 meters from the center to the chord. Oh, it's going to bug me. I'm going to make it fit right there. Okay. Questions there? Those are our triples, so you want to keep memorizing those. Boop. All right, so find the radius of a circle. So hopefully by now you're like getting to be experts of a circle. I'm looking for the radius. If, that should say if, a 24 centimeter chord is 9 centimeters from the center. So that's 9. Remember, that's my right angle. This is going to be 12 and 12. And I'm looking for the radius. Anyone know this triple really quick? 9, 12. Nope. All right, so then you got to do Pythagorean Theorem, which is a little bit more tedious. So 81 plus 144 equals c squared. 144 plus 81 is 225. Second square root, 225 is 15. So you're like, huh, that would be easier if I just memorized my triple. When you see like 3 odd ones like that, or, you know, if you see like a 9 or whatever, see if it falls in that 3, 4, 5, which is does, 9, 12, 15. All right. So that radius is 15. So we're done. Radius is 15 centimeters. Okay. This one, if first hour watches this, I somehow skipped this one. So, PQ is the diameter of circle O. P is negative 317 and Q is 5, 2. Find the coordinate of the center of the circle. It should be plural. So you don't have to sketch it if you understand that this is the endpoints of the diameter. But negative 317, we'll call it up here. And 5, 2, we'll call it right here. So this is a diameter. So semicircle, semicircle. Oopsies, I did not make that even close to being cute. So anyways, the center is going to be right here in the middle somewhere. Okay, so that's what we're looking for. So what can I add to my, what I need to know is midpoint. So the midpoint is what we have to find. And we spent last week on that. So I gave you a couple of formulas that you would need moving forward in circles, and midpoint is definitely on that list. So the midpoint is just what it sounds like. It's the point in the middle, and that is the center. The point in the middle is the midpoint, so don't overthink it. So this midpoint, i.e. the center, is negative 3 plus 5 divided by 2, 17 plus 2 divided by 2. Now here, let me give you like a super duper duper big calculator lesson, boys and girls. If you just roll along and you do clear, first off, everyone do this by hand. Okay, so what is 5 minus 3? 2. And what's 2 divided by 2? 1. 17 plus 2 is 19, divided by 2 is 9.5. Okay, even though you could leave it 19 halves. If you use your calculator and you don't use parentheses, so many kids will get this wrong and it's careless. So they just type in -3 plus 5, and without any parentheses, they hit divided by 2. Your calculator will divide these two first. So it'll give them -1/2 when it should give them +1. So if you're going to use your calculator, you either have to use parentheses and do -3 plus 5, close parentheses, divided by 2. Or you can use your alpha key, -3 plus 5 divided by 2. Or you can just do it one at a time and kind of do that grouping. Okay? So pick a way that works for you, but it's really easy and careless if you do get it wrong. All right, can I turn? All right, number 7 is, we're in the home stretch, only 2 more. All right, so circle P is tangent to, so they kind of refreshed your memory here. That means that it just touches the x-axis. So they're talking about this point right here. So if we draw a line there, and this is an arrow. That took me a little while to figure out first hour. That's an arrow. So point Q is 1916, and point P is 1513. So first I have to find the radius. So the radius is going to be this, or this, or this, or this, or this. The radius is from the center to an endpoint. So what do we know? P is 1513. So that means I go along 15 and I go up 13. Well, this is a radius too. So that means that's 13 units long. So that's why they tell you that this is the tangent line, because that means it was a direct shot up 13 units. All right, so now I have to find PQ. So PQ, I'm going to have to use the distance formula. So way back another week ago, I also gave you the distance formula, which was x minus x squared plus y minus y squared. Okay. So, I'm going to take my 2 coordinates, P and Q, and find that distance. So the distance is, so let's go 19 minus 15 squared, which we all know to be 4, and 4 squared is 16. Remember, this is still under the radical. Plus 16 minus 13 squared, which is 3 squared, which is 9. So 16 plus 9 is 25, and the square root of that is 5. So this whole answer is equal to 5. So this is 5. I know that the radius is 13. And if we've been really paying attention, this is a triple. What is it? 5 blank 13. 12 is the missing. I sort of jumped the gun on that. So that half of a chord is 12. So what's the entire chord? 24. Yay! And we're done. I know that's a lot of math. That's why I started 2 weeks ago with distance. How do you write it on the wrong thing? I don't know how Abdullah writes on the wrong paper. Well, but it doesn't even look like it.
No.
Oh.
I know that.
Okay, now we're on number 8. All right, in circle O, PQ is 10. Nope, PQ is 4. RQ is 10. So hopefully you're really paying attention. That's going to be 14. And PO is 15. So that whole thing is 15. I'm just reading it. So PQ is 4, RQ is 10, and PO is 15. So I have to find PS. So hopefully you're getting into a habit now. What am I going to do right away with my chord with 10? What should I do? Say chop it in half. That's right, because they're congruent, right? So that's 5 and 5. All right, now let me get my handy dandy highlighter back out. What right triangle do you see here? Right? Do you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is 9. This is we don't know, and this is 15. What's the we don't know?
We don't know.
Oh, it's a triple! Yay! So that's 12. Yay! It's a triple. What is a triple? Holy cow. Where have we been here, kiddo?
Oh.
Yeah. Otherwise, you have to do Pythagorean Theorem all the time, and that gets to be tedious. Well, it's also longer. And on the ACT, you don't have a lot of time. So you got to be quick. But yes, of course, you could do 9 squared plus whatever squared equals 15 squared. Anyways, now we have to still have to find PS. So that's 12. Let's see. Oh, now we even have to do tougher still is a toughie. So this, I'm going to make this little triangle pop out. This is 5. This is 12. What's this triple?
13.
Yay! So that radius is 13. So that radius is 13. And if the whole thing's 15, what's PS? This is 13. The whole thing's 15. What's this little guy?
2.
Yay! And we're done. Okay, so you are going to turn these notes in. If you're watching at home, you're going to turn these notes in. See you tomorrow.